Hey, I want to welcome Kennesaw Happenings to our podcast this morning. And we have two youth, I love it, in the studio, coming from a long way away, but we thank them for coming in the studio. We're at Overture, which is a 55 and older community right next to Academy Sports. So when they came in, they're going, okay, is this the grandkids of people visiting their grandmother? So so yes, thank you for being here. So what I want, Krista, since you're on my shoulder here,
Hello.
introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then Kayla will go right after you.
So my name is Krista O'Neill. I'm the founder of Miss Social Media. We are a social media management agency. When I started the company, I knew I did not want to do it alone. And so Kayla was the first person that I reached out to. And we serve small and medium-sized businesses to help them reach their local audience through social media platforms.
Awesome. And I am Kayla Welte. I'm the social media strategist of the team. And I just help Krista to run a great company.
So what was it like? I like how you said, Krista, that you hired your friend, working with people you like. Give our viewers kind of, Krista, you give it from your eyes.
Yeah.
What is it like to work with somebody you enjoy being around?
Honestly, I think that's the most important part of what you do, aside from what you do and loving what you actually do, because that's what you're, 9 to 5, if not longer. As an entrepreneur, it's really 9 to 9, and that's 9 a.m. to the next 9 a.m.
Yeah, no, you're right about that.
You gotta like what you do if you're an entrepreneur, but I think equally important, you have to like who you're working with, because those are the people that are, in your corner. They're there to support you, and likewise, you to support them. And if you don't love them like family, it makes business really hard.
Wow, awesome. Kayla, what was it like when Krista came to you and said, hey, I'm putting this company together and I'd like to have you join me? What was your thoughts?
Well, I felt honored because she's really picky. But I was super excited. It's definitely nothing I ever saw myself doing. But now that I'm doing it, I can't see myself doing anything else. It's so fun. Our team is incredible. Like I said, she's picky. So we have the best of the best on our team, which makes it so enjoyable. I don't mind when they message me at 9 p.m. or Saturday. It doesn't matter. If
Saturday,
I see it, I
Mm-hmm.
So it's been incredible, a great experience. And she's a great teacher, because at the end of the day, she teaches me everything that I know. I didn't know anything about social media prior.
Well, it's so important to teach. So Krista, this is for you. As an entrepreneur, it takes a different mindset. What was when you launched the company, what was your biggest challenge that you're diving into to this? And what did you have? What could you share with our viewers that was very difficult? And then how you overcame it?
Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge was the mindset shift of, do I want to do this alone, or do I want to build a team? Because there's a lot of people that, do social media management and they do it on their own, and that's totally fine. They do a great job. But part of the structure that I wanted to build is I wanted to make it affordable for the local business. And if you're doing it alone, you have to charge higher prices because you've got to make money and you've got to cover expenses. Whereas if you build a team, you're able to help a lot more people at a better rate. And so it was a hard adjustment to go from, because I've run businesses in the past, but it was me, myself, and I didn't have anybody that was working with me. I didn't have to, do the team and adjust to that. So I never saw myself as a boss or a leader. And Kayla, I always laugh when I say, I'm not trying to be your boss, because I don't want to be your boss. But that mindset shift of going from a solo entrepreneur to building a team and learning how to lead the team was probably the biggest challenge. And I can't say I've necessarily overcome it, because it's still a challenge, is trying to be a leadership role that you're not really comfortable in a leadership role, and learning to adjust to that every day.
I love that. So Kayla, what prepared you for this moment? What did you study something in college that was leaning towards this business, or how did you get to this point?
I'll let Kayla answer that, and then I'll say what I think.
Okay.
So I was a PR major in college. So I think in general, the people like skills, I did a lot of public speaking in college and writing. So that definitely prepared me. But I would say more so just my past jobs. I was a server in college, so I learned to really talk to anybody. I can please almost anybody. Probably not everybody is my cup of tea, but that's okay. So I would just say more so my people skills. And then being in my 20s, I'm good with my phone, which is what social media is.
Well, you're very introspective because that's exactly what I was going to say. The first person that came to mind was Kayla because of her people skills.
Right.
I've known her since high school. And so that goes beyond or before her PR and serving days. She's always been a good people person and really easy to talk to and very good in conversation and outgoing and not afraid to be put in situations that she's not comfortable with or not used to. And so it's like, you like Kayla would be perfect. I'm going to throw her into B&I. I'm going to throw her into networking groups. I'm going to have her go meet random people and she's going to do great. And she has.
Right.
So it was really the people skills that I saw in her.
I love that because I think today we go into a restaurant and we see sometimes the disconnect with a group of people that they're on their phones too much. And so the people skills, we call it our generation, I don't know about younger, call it the soft skills. And I had a person at Shepherd who had phenomenal soft skills. And I'm drawn to people that have that because we grew up without it. So maybe we developed it a little bit, but that device is a digital brain. And if we don't have that separation at times, we can lean on it too much. So moving back just a little bit, when you said building a team, Krista, what drove you to build a team?
Yeah, there were multiple factors that played into it. Like I said, I wanted to be able to serve a larger audience than what I would be able to on my own. I think realistically, if I was a solo social media manager, I would be able to serve maybe 5 to 7 businesses really well. Right now, we work with over 20 businesses. I could not do that alone. And I certainly couldn't charge the prices that I'm able to charge. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I have a team behind me to delegate and specialize in certain aspects of the business. And so, again, multifaceted answer there. But the biggest thing was I wanted to be able to serve the mom and pop business that doesn't have thousands of dollars to invest in social media. And likewise, the company that maybe does have thousands of dollars to invest in social media. And I wanted to be able to provide service for the whole spectrum. And I knew I couldn't do that alone.
Wow, I like that. What do you, and I'll go to Kayla in just a second. What do you do on a daily basis? You mentioned leadership. You mentioned a few things to our viewers. What are you doing to develop and personally, because I'm gathering by what you said is that's an important part of your philosophy. Are you reading books? Are you listening to videos? What can you tell our viewers that would be beneficial that, you know, somebody's saying, I'd just rather do it all myself?
Yeah. So my time management has changed a little bit recently. I have a 6-month-old daughter, actually 7 months today. So I've been really having to carve out that time for myself and for the business. Obviously the business, is a little bit easier to carve out, but that personal self-development time is a little bit harder to find. But that being said, the biggest thing that I do is read the Bible. That might sound cliche, but the Bible just teaches very good business and entrepreneur skills. It teaches really good leadership skills. And so that's where I find most of my leadership philosophy. But aside from that, listening to podcasts and developing the business and going above and beyond for our clients is ultimately the goal. So being on, lack of a better way to say, the cutting edge of technology and the way social media works, we're always looking at new ways to improve what we do and how we serve clients. And so listening to podcasts of people that are smarter than me is how you get smarter. And then I wish I had time to read books. I try, but books on tape are a lifesaver. And so listening to some leadership and business development books on tape is really the main focus there.
No, it's very, that is, I love it. I mean, what you just said. So, Kayla, what would you say? What have you learned in working with Krista in that team building mindset? What has she taught you that you could share with our viewers?
I think a big part of her leadership is just that we're all in it together, and she's a team player. She is the boss at the end of the day, whether she likes it or not. And she's a team player, and no one's above anyone else. If there's anything I can't figure out, no matter the day, the time, she's there to help me. And likewise with the rest of our team. So I just think a huge part is just that, like, we are a team, and that stands for each person that's there.
It's awesome. What would you say, like, give us an idea. Do you like all go out to dinner every once in a while? What do you do to build that culture and that team? What could our viewers take home that, and we'll go to Kayla first and then we'll come back the other way.
So unfortunately, but kind of fortunately, 2 of our team members are located in Florida.
Okay.
So we've done team dinner before when they're in town, but unfortunately we're not able to do it monthly like we'd want to, but we jump onto Zoom meets or Zoom meetings, and all talk with each other. So this Friday at 11 a.m., that's what we'll be doing. I'll have a lunch over Zoom. So that's really a huge way that we connect. We also are all messaging all day, every day, pretty much. But getting on that Zoom, it kind of makes you feel like you're in person, even though it's not face to face.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned your daughter that's 7 months old. Is this your first?
It is, yeah.
Okay, now.
And she's adorable.
And yeah, and I can only imagine. But life turns upside down when you start becoming the parent and working. How are you managing both those roles? Give our viewers an idea, because we do see that all of a sudden we could work as many hours as we want when we're not a parent. But when you become a parent, your priorities change. How have you balanced it or managed it?
Yeah. So our nanny and babysitter is a lifesaver. And she actually is Kennesaw. She born and raised over here, and she drives about 30-45 minutes to come save us all day and give my husband and I the opportunity to work. So that's the biggest thing, is having help, again, delegating it within the business and without the business. My mom is also a lifesaver. She lives in Ackworth, and she makes the drive over to us in Roswell and helps out as much as she can too. So making sure to designate business hours and family hours, and overcoming the mom guilt of not being there all the time. Although I will say it's been easier because she's at the house. So if I go out and have lunch, I can have a lunch break with my kid. So it does make it nice, to have her in the house and be able to see her throughout the day. So that's been the biggest thing. If she was at daycare, I might feel a little bit differently. I love having her at the house, but eventually she's going to need to develop social skills with her own age group. So
well, I think she's in good shape because her mom's in social media. Yeah, I think you picked the right occupation to give her the social skills. Yeah, no, it's funny. If you were a CPA, I'd be concerned, but no, I think you're in good shape there. So this is for Kayla. So BNI is where I met you.
Yes.
So what would you tell our viewers that have never heard of that word or that acronym? I think, yeah. What would you say? How has it benefited give us an idea of how that's helped your business, or what value you're getting out of it?
So I see value when it comes to the business, and then me also just personally. It is a room of now like 70 plus people. It is absolutely crazy how big of a group it's gotten to be. It is all people of different walks of life, because it's a closed networking group. So it's 70 different occupations. And it's all different people that you would never meet if you weren't in that room all at once. I've never been to a more beneficial networking group before. And it also has helped me personally grow in my own professional growth. learning to navigate so many different personalities and so many different in like kinds of jobs. And so you talk to each person differently. So I mean, there's just so much growth that anyone can do, no matter how far into their career they are.
No, I agree. I mean, and the reason I say that, my daughter is medical recruiter, and then she was a college recruiter in Phoenix, and she moved back. And so she called and said, "Dad, you're a networker. Would you help me?" I said, "Sure." So I immediately, when I went to it, I was asking Amanda, because I know Charles, and I said, "What is he doing?" And he's in a BNI in Alpharetta. So I called my daughter. I said, "I think I got a good place for you to land in Alpharetta." So I will tell her to listen to this, because I want you to give a plug for BNI, because I do think I've had people that were in the corporations and they never understood local networking. Yeah. They always hired somebody, which I think is smart. But if you have a business locally, you have to learn how to network. Mm-hmm. You have to learn, and BNI provides that structure. It's like going to BNI University. Mm-hmm. And you said it, 70 people, different occupations, different personalities. There's so many different things in that one room that you have to figure out. And it's just life, because it's people. And so what would you say to my daughter? This is for Kayla. What would you say? How have you been able to benefit? I know you touched on it, but her name is Mage. So I want you to speak to her, and I want you to say, "Hey, I think this isn't coming from Dad, okay? So this is coming from a person involved in BNI. What would you think how would it benefit her to being part of BNI up in the Alpharetta area?"
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, when they first hear about BNI and go to it, they hear the cost, but they forget how much value there is. I know that when you first join something, especially a BNI, it is pretty pricey at first, but it pays off in the end. There's so many different people there. If you really put your full effort into BNI, you get the full potential it holds. If you show up to the meetings and you start meeting everybody and really show your personality and be very specific about who you're looking for and what connections you're wanting to make, there is so much money to be made in that room. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, that is why people are in BNI. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it works. BNI is not this big for no reason.
Right. And I'm curious, because I don't know the answer to this, and I'll come back to Krista in just a second. But the traffic report, are you one that would be in the green, or do you fight to go from yellow to green?
Yeah, it depends on the week.
Yeah. Okay.
It depends on the week. I'll be I was in the yellow last week. Well, I should be in the green this week, though.
Okay. No, I think it's
red. I've never been down there.
And I think that the key is life is evolving. Yes. I mean, it's like if you're that person that says, "I've always got to do this," and you stress out about it, then you lose the fun in it. Right. It's the metrics of something is it's trying to get you to do good habits. Absolutely. And so that I like that. So that came from Kayla, not me. So yeah, exactly. So Krista, tell her, if I'm a person that's like hearing social media, they're hearing, "Oh, you got to be doing social media." What advice would you give our viewers that you can? I know it's a tiny bit biased, but I want you to speak to the people that just right now that's saying, "Well, I don't know if I can do social media. I got my teenage sisters, cousins, friends that's doing it for me." I want you to speak to the professionals that are looking to make a difference and move the needle in their business.
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, when you start your social media account, you want to separate business and personal. You don't want to use your personal business, or I'm sorry, your personal account for your business. Now, you can personally promote your business, but you want to have separate accounts. We have a few clients who had to transition their personal Instagram page to a different name because they were really using their business's name for personal communication. So first thing is you just want to separate business and personal. And then from there, I think the biggest thing is consistency. We like to say there's 3 pillars to success on social media. You have content, consistency, and community. The content piece is putting out things that accurately represent who you are and what your business does. You want to do it on a consistent basis. If the last time you posted was 2022, if somebody finds you on that platform, it looks like your business is no longer in business. So you want to have some form of consistency. Even if it's just monthly, that's better than yearly. And then community is probably the most missed piece of social media. And that's going out and strategically engaging with the people that you want to do business with more often. And you can, it depends on the platform, but there's a lot of different ways to do that. On Facebook, it's mostly in groups. On Instagram, it's a lot of personal, liking a story and following and commenting on posts. And if all of this language sounds foreign to you, we do free social media consultations. And I joke, I'll tell you how to do it. If you want us to do it, that's when you have to pay. But if you want a free social media consultation, I can give you the full rundown, teach you how to do it. The only time that you have to pay us is when we're the ones doing all the work behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's good. I have always had the philosophy, do what you do best and outsource the rest. Because if you, as a business owner, are carrying too many hats, that's just not going to transfer into the value you need. You have to do what you do best. Let professionals really handle that part of it. Because if you're over the age of 55, I'm just going to throw a number, you don't have a clue what's going on. And so with the new things, everything, there's something new coming in, like short form video. It's like, what the heck is that? I mean, so you're thinking like, I got to learn that. And I had a person that said they were always, they're going to dive into being a social media person. And my advice to her was stay in your lane and find the experts to do what you want to get accomplished. So Kayla, what would you, in with your working, like every week you're educating your BNI, do you have an idea of what you're going to be communicating based on trends, or how do you handle that 30-second time?
Yeah, it kind of just depends on the week. Sometimes I went through a 3-week process of describing the 3 different pillars of social media. Sometimes it's a client success, but then if there's a huge change in trends, and it's not just, if it's a small change in a trend, a lot of the room's not going to probably understand quite what I'm saying. But if it's a huge change in trends, then I speak on it there.
Good. I love that. So what is your ideal client? Is there a certain revenue goal, or do you stay in the trades, or what would, our viewers are out there, they're listening and they're saying, is this going to be a good match, or is this something that I want to explore? Where is your sweet spot? And I'll go to Kristen first, and then I can ask for you.
Yeah. So we have been challenged in that, in a sense that we have worked with pretty much everyone across the spectrum, as far as what businesses. I mean, we work with local magazine owners who want to connect with local businesses, so the B2B side of things. We've worked with HVAC and electrical companies, all the way up to a jewelry line, a high-end custom fashion jewelry line. So we have really been all across the spectrum. What we try to focus on is local businesses connecting with the local community. So while we can do a jewelry brand that sells anywhere across the country, they are based in Atlanta. So we're still able to have that in-person contact and be able to get content for them. And use their jewelry in photographs, because really what we do is full spectrum social media management, and that's from creating and gathering content to posting it and doing the engagement. And if you have a business that's in Colorado, it's hard to do both sides of that, because the community engagement piece, you don't know the local breweries in Colorado without doing a Google Maps and trying to figure out where my ideal demographic goes, again, using Google Maps. So really we specialize in local businesses that want to reach the local community really effectively. And right now, local for us is Metro Atlanta, and now the 30A market down in Panama City, Destin. So Bay Walton County.
Whoa, that's where your hub. That's a pretty good place to have one. Was that a coincidence that you like the beach, or you just happened to come up?
Yeah, so one of our team members made a recent life change and moved down there, and so we have had the opportunity then to expand down there.
Yeah, that's a smart business move there. I like that.
It was coincidence more.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, look.
I'll take smart business.
Hey,
I'll
look.
give that to her.
Yeah, hey, look.
A motivated team member.
I think when you create an environment, you attract people, and you attract people that want to have that flexibility to be able to do things like that. So as we wind down, I know we have a lunch appointment. We could, in my mind, I love social media, talking about it. But first, how would somebody get a hold of you?
Probably the best way is Instagram, but you can also email Kayla or myself, and it's Kayla at miss-socialmedia.com or Krista miss-socialmedia.com. So that's probably the easiest way, but if you want to find us on Instagram, it's Miss Social Media.
Awesome. All right. This is going to be both of you finishing up on this one. Okay. Since Krista gave the information, Kayla, what would you want the one thing our viewers could take home from this podcast that you could share with them?
Just one thing?
Yeah, you got it zeroed down to one.
Well, if social media is not making you money, it's a waste of money.
I love it.
It's good motto. She might have come up with that one.
Dang.
But I said it.
Okay. Krista, you got to top that, or at least come close. Yeah, that is good. That was really good. Yes.
Yeah. So I would say if you're not going to be active on social media, don't do it for your business, because again, consistency is key. If you meet somebody at a networking event and then they go to your website and those two things look drastically different, your expectations are all over the place.
Yes.
Likewise, if they show up in person and your website looks different than your restaurant or your storefront, there's confusion there. So social media is a way to shake hands with people. It's a way to meet people, and it's a great resource and a great tool. But if you're not accurately representing yourself on social media, you're misrepresenting your business and you're misrepresenting your brand. And that can have a negative impact just as much as it can have a positive one.
Hey, I tell you what. Mom did a pretty good one there. That was really good. No, it's great advice, and we appreciate y'all coming to the studio and sharing with us, because social media is a changing, evolving world, and we always like to have two experts in the studio talking about it. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.